Welcome to Essential Ingredients. This is our 100th episode. My name is Justine Reichman. I'm your host. Today with me is Gina Bria, our guest. She was on our original episode, our very first episode, and I'm so pleased to have her here. Welcome, Gina Bria. She is the founder of the Hydration Foundation and just my first and 100th episode. So welcome, Gina.
I can't believe we're at episode 100, Justine, but I'm not surprised because you're such an extraordinary hub person. You know how to draw all these people in around topics like how we're going to care about our food and our bodies together. So 100th episode now to launch our post-isolation life and become more of a community together. It's great to be with you.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember just bringing you on for the first time, and we had just moved from having Zooms to having podcasts, and I had never done a podcast before, and it was just such an exciting time, and it was a little bit of it was a guess.
Right.
I wasn't sure where the podcasts were going to go, but I'm so excited that we're here today because I wasn't sure where it was headed. But you kind of had an idea when I spoke to you the first time. You were excited about it and you thought it was going places. And
well, I knew that intuitively or instinctually because of the gifts that you have. Justine, you are such a hub person, and your ability to synthesize information and help people get it out, to be that party that parlays information to people, what they need to know, what are our new thoughts about getting this? The new thought leader position is just wonderful for you. And because we're working with such nutrient dense thoughts, bringing that together in an interview format, a way that people can easily listen to it and access it through a podcast, it just made perfect sense. So, and I've listened to many, many episodes, and every time it was someone I didn't know, even though I'm in these circles, it was an idea I'd never heard of before. It was a solutionist approach. I mean, the goal, I think, of what your podcast has been able to produce is in delivering optimism, really delivering the energy, the inspiration people need to go on to the next step, whatever that may be in their life, because we all need to be contributing to our new world. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I couldn't ask for, that was unsolicited, so I'm really very grateful.
The truth hurts.
So I'm very appreciative.
Yeah.
I do know that when I first launched this, the one thing I really wanted to do was bring people access to information in a digestible way so that they can make more informed choices. And we kicked it off with you because I thought that water is something that was something that we need, something that we often take for granted, and we don't really know how valuable it is to us. And there are so many different ways that it helps us, but we don't really know how to access the best nutrients from it. And having that conversation with you and understanding the ways that we can get the best nutrients from it really made me more informed and changed the way that I thought about water and how I ate water, shall I say.
Let's do it again. Let's talk about water again. There's never enough time to give to water. But
I agree. I would love to talk about water because I love to give the listeners and the viewers some great takeaways. And then I'd love to hear also, since we spoke last, some of the new innovative ways that you've taken water to the next level.
Oh, great. Okay, so we'll break this into two parts. I'll answer the first part of this whole thing about water as the ultimate essential ingredient.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, so we can have something that our listeners and our viewers can take away. Because last time we talked about chia,
right?
And we talked about we gave them a recipe.
Right.
So, for those people that weren't part of that last conversation, or maybe, our new listeners and viewers, we can give them something to take away and understand how invaluable this is in different ways that they can include water in their diet. And for those that are not familiar with the Hydration Foundation and who you are, Gina, maybe you can give a short intro.
Okay, great. So simple. I am an anthropologist of all the crazy things to be. My mother did not approve. I just want to tell you that right away. She thought I should be, I don't know, a kindergarten teacher, but turns out that all those skills are necessary to bring, vital new ways of looking. And I ended up as an anthropologist looking at desert communities around the globe. So I studied each in depth, the Gobi Desert, it all. We looked at it all. And the discovery that came out of that was so shocking is that they were not using liquid to hydrate with, liquid water. They were using water already stored inside foods like cactus and aloe and tubers buried under the ground. It turns out there's water all over. But because we're used to looking for liquid or open lakes or rivers or streams bubbling up, we don't recognize where water is stored on the planet in all the multiplicity of biological ways. So it got very exciting very quickly because we realized that we had our hands on an entire tradition and lineage and strategy around the world getting water out of plants. And it turns out the water in plants is not exactly liquid. So like when you bite into that pear and that juice dribbles out, that isn't exactly liquid water. It's a phase of water that's been affected by sunlight and minerals up from the roots of the plant that has changed that water just enough. It's only 10% more viscous than liquid, but now it can begin sharing electrical charge. So this kind of water inside of plants turns out to be more hydrating because it accesses our cells much more easily. So you get better hydrated with less water. And why that turns out to be so exciting and important is that our human bodies, are far more water than we thought. Once you get out of the liquid only idea or vapor only or ice, of course, ice doesn't go in our bodies, but there are phases of water in between liquid and ice that turn out to be highly important phases where water does different kind of work than just being wet. So the water inside our cells, inside of us, is also, it matches the kind of water inside a pear. It's slightly more viscous. It's what our cells are filled with. It's what our tissues are made out of. And when we look for water in that form, it turns out to be that we're far more water than we thought. All our cells are water. So this is really interesting and important news. And I founded the Hydration Foundation, which is an educational nonprofit, to share how vital it is you're a water being, that you're made up of water that's not quite liquid, but it's more in a gel form, a more jelly-like form, and that all your tissues, all your organs, all your skin is a form of water that we weren't watching for. And therefore, hydration is one of the most extreme essential ingredients that we can possibly think of. It's our partner. We are it. We're in relationship with it. And that eating a high plant diet doesn't have to be only a plant diet, but a high plant diet is going to get you better hydrated than going to the store and buying bottles of water off the shelf or drinking from your tap. So that's like the beginning story for me, Justine. Yeah.
I love that. It doesn't get old. It's always new. And this time I think you told it a little bit different, because I remember the other story was a little bit different, which I like because we may have some of the same viewers.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the information nonetheless
bears repeating. It bears repeating because how many people are telling you that your watermelon, your apple is more hydrating than a bottle of water? And this is scientifically shown now. We know that that water packed inside of food is nature's natural water bottle for us, that it's coming in with the flesh of that plant that allows the water to be slowly time released. It's like a sponge release. So that whole quality of water being slowly time released instead of guzzled through our system with, high volume water, we really have to get out of that idea. Or if you're in that idea, how to cooperate with it to make your system work better. And also, by the way, raise your nutrition at every point. You're bringing in water, which dissolves nutrition, which dissolves the nutritional molecules just at the time those molecules need to be released. So there's a system we're working within, and we are a body system ourselves. So part of the new thing that's been growing for me, Justine, since we did our first interview, is helping people get that their entire system is a water system. It's a tissue system made of cells made up of little balloons of water, and that there's strategies for supporting that go beyond just guzzling 8 glasses of water a day, right?
So let's talk about that for a minute, because I think everybody always wants to know, how do I interpret that for myself?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Right.
So,
biologically, now speaking as an anthropologist, your water system, your fluid dynamic water system, needs exposure to light. So getting sun in the appropriate level for you turns out to be extremely important. And the fact that we as a culture live indoors most of the time or commute in our cars is costing us hydration. That's not a thought people normally think of.
Not at all.
Immobility is another huge issue, because if you are a liquid flow system run by personal motion, if you're not moving, and I'm not talking marathons, I'm talking about gentle movements throughout the day, getting up from your computer or doing twists in your chairs or laying in bed and wiggling before you get out of bed at first thing in the morning, having meetings that are walking meetings, being aware that the motion is actually your liquid fluid system that is moving the flow dynamics through you to get to your tissues, to get to your cognition, to your brain, to your vascular system, to your lungs, to the tissue around your breast, where so many breast cancer issues, those are water movement systems that we're not activating enough, and the water's getting stale inside of us, and we really feel it. So motion is another incredibly important strategy. And then the conversation around water as an electrical conductor. Water conducts our entire electrical system. That's how we're alive. When your charger, you lose your charger, you're frantic. Right?
True, yeah.
We are not understanding. We need to charge ourselves up every day. So sunlight does that, but also walking in the grass, all the things you hear as health practices. All I'm doing, Justine, is connecting them to you as a hydrating being. So you have a fuller understanding of why eating food, beautifully juicy food, soups and salads. A salad is 96% water. I mean, it's in a huge amount that we don't value it in that way. And thinking of yourself also as kind of like a fish moving through your day, that you're going to have stops where you need to replenish your hydration. And you think about yourself that way because you're now understanding it runs your electrical system. It runs every system in your body, whether it's lymph, blood, eyesight. Just pick a body organ that doesn't run on water, right? That doesn't need water.
Question for you. So similar to like your iPhone charger, when it doesn't have juice, when it doesn't have the battery, it dies, right? Now, I don't want to say that when you don't have your salad and you die, but what does one expect to feel when they don't have enough hydration, when they're not eating properly, or the right plants and vegetables don't have the proper hydration?
Right.
What's the difference in the feeling you can explain? Or the difference let me clarify the question. What's the difference in being hydrated by fruits and vegetables versus a glass of water? And how does that differentiate? Because you need a lot more water to have, versus the plants and fruits, because you get so much more from those plants and fruits, correct?
Yeah, and it's helping people get out of the idea that it's only water that hydrates them.
Right.
This is really, really news. And it's so exciting because we're such a mess by just trying to hydrate with water alone.
Those 8 glasses we were told as a kid that we need to have.
Yeah.
It's not bloated half the time trying to guzzle it down.
Of course. Right. Your body resists because for the vast amount of people, we're drinking bad water. On top of it not being an efficient hydrator, now it comes with the new problems we've increased in our culture. So this is why switching to fruits and vegetables has I'm not saying only, I'm saying adding, that those begin to take over as part of a whole drip irrigation system, nutrition system, an advanced nutrition system. And it's able to get into our tissues much more gently and powerfully and sustain with the quality of water, because when fruits and vegetables begin their journey with transforming water through their root system, through sunlight, they are also decontaminating that water. So you're getting a more purified form. And these are all, long range. We're going to have a lot of management around this. Do I wash that vegetable? All the things that we ask. But just to start the conversation around, yes, let's go forward, understanding how much we're made of water and how matching that up with biological water on the planet, including things like, soaks in beautiful baths. I think you can absorb up to 1 liter of water. With a beautiful Epsom salt bath. In other words, it starts to show up as care for your whole system all over the place once you realize, oh, I'm a land walking water being. So how will I manage that? How will I flourish? Let's go back to your question of what it feels to be dehydrated. The first thing that shows up is fatigue, because you're out of electrical energy. So if you hit that 3 o'clock, killer moment, but it shows up as fatigue, as in I wake up, I open my eyes in the morning and I'm just exhausted at the thought of my day. I don't have the energy to get out of bed. Well, we classify those as solely emotional issues, but those emotions show up in part because they're trying to help us see we need hydration. This buoyancy, natural buoyancy that comes when you are a fully hydrated being, and the cognitive power that comes, the emotional resilience. All of this has to do with our hydration. How extraordinary. We just had never put that together.
Yeah. So if we start to provide a more nutritious life, eating more fruits and vegetables, including some daylight, and being more mindful about it, because often, especially through COVID, we stay at home. There's no commuting, where we really don't leave our houses often as we used to, right? So we lack sunlight. Often we're just, working. And maybe if we're more thoughtful about what we eat and what we drink, and we're taking those baths, although in California, we want to be mindful about the baths that we take from the lack of the water.
Right, sure.
Although I'm from New York and I used to take a bath just to warm up.
Right.
So we can wake up with more energy. We can be more alert on our calls, and all from just eating a bit more thoughtfully, taking a few walks outside in the middle of the day in between Zoom calls. And really all we did was change our lifestyle just a little bit to be more thoughtful about how to integrate some hydrating fruits and vegetables and light into our life.
Yeah. And identifying the fact that, Justine, computers are electrical items. They deeply drain. They take electricity out of us. Our cell phones and our screens take electricity out. Once you say that, you go, oh, of course.
Right.
I just need to go get some more electricity. I just need to plug in to nature, and that makes that doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. It's like, okay, I'm out of juice, people. I gotta go do something. We just help people get to that idea about hydration. And it's a whole different game now, because now you're in the idea as, oh, I'm replenishing myself. I'm going to get some charge. And that makes health tasks a very different kind of experience. Like, nope, just going to get some charge here, people, as opposed to yet another exhausting item on my list that I must do to survive. And I don't even want to get out of bed.
Hi, this is Asim from Drink Zen. On behalf of our team, I'd like to wish Justine and her team at Next Gen Chef a happy anniversary on the 100th episode of the Essential Ingredients podcast.
Hello, Justine and the Essential Ingredients team. Congratulations on your 100th episode. It is amazing what you've created, bringing all of our inspiring thought leaders in the food and beverage space. We're honored to be a part of that. I'm Meryl Gilbert. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Trace Trust.
Hi, this is Nona from Nona Lim. It has been some time since I appeared on the Essential Ingredients podcast. Happy anniversary, Justin.
Hi, Justine, and the fans of Essential Ingredients. Congratulations on your 100th episode. Since we've spoken last, Green Bronze Machine has gone on to win our second Classy Award in the 2022 Social Innovation Award.
Hi, Justine. It's Haley from Actual Veggies. First of all, I want to wish you a super congratulations on your 100th episode. They're so fun to listen to, and that's an awesome milestone.
There's so much to what you're doing within the Hydration Foundation and water. And you also work with businesses. And
Yes.
I want to be able to pack that into what we're talking about today, because I think that what you're doing with some of these businesses can be integral to what other businesses are building. And since we're a resource and a platform for you to share what you're doing and amplify your message, I also think it's a resource for businesses and end consumers to make more informed choices. So I'd love to give you this platform to share what you've done, because personally, and it's a little selfish, I want to hear more about what you've done because it's so exciting. So let's first talk about bed, and then I want to hear about the rest.
Okay, so what I want to share about bed is really simple. So when you wake up in the morning, if you could just start to wiggle and stretch, you are starting your dynamic flow system. It will help you get out of bed. You know, you will look at the day differently if you start with a little fun wiggle and a little dance right in your bed. It just starts the day differently than I'm, slogging my chair too. I love it. Sharing this new information that water isn't just liquid, that it has states. And Da Vinci was the first to identify this with his water drawings. And what he noticed, along with a whole lineage of really brilliant observers, is that water needs to move in order to deliver its electricity. It needs to, and it likes to move, it best moves and makes the most electricity. Water will make energy, water makes electricity, is if it spins in a spiral. So I have been working with companies who are very adept at creating these vortexes for home residences and especially for agriculture, because once we get electricity back in the soil, we revive the soils. All the living things in the soil are dehydrated too. Those microbes in the mycelium need hydration just like we do, and they're not getting it just because water is wet, which is how we're irrigating. The water needs electrical charge, and only this spinning state delivers electricity. That is amazing. That is amazing information. So if we, for example, put simple funnels that spin water on our sources of water, for example, if Starbucks started using these, they're attached to all your plumbing, they're simple screw-in device that spins water. By the time it comes out, it's got electrical charge. Our coffee would be more hydrating. We'd be looking at the taste and the smoothness the differences. So companies that make products that use water, we would love to partner with you and help you get to these companies who are making these devices which make water have more power. And actually, it is a natural state. All we're doing is recovering what nature is missing.
Gina, is this some of the work you've been doing out east on Long Island?
Yes. So I also I've also been working with spas. So when I had a wonderful project come across my plate, the opportunity to help a spa open and be the first hydrotherapy structured water. This kind of water is sometimes called ordered water, structured water, liquid crystalline, but it's in this phase, this fourth phase. So not just vapor, liquid, and ice.
Wait, before you go on, just for our listeners, because I'm not sure that everyone's got the same vocabulary. Can you just explain what structured water is?
Right. So I think it's a horrible term. I wish I didn't have to use it, but it's water that is beyond just liquid. It's moved into this electric charge state. That's all it is. It's water that got spun or vortexed in some way, the way a waterfall would, or even a raindrop falling out of the sky is structured because it spins. So let's get rid of the word structured and use the word water that has the spin or spiral back in it. It loves that, and it begins to share electrons, and it makes electricity. So when I had this opportunity to work with this spa that was opening, Shogibon House, it's in the Hamptons, Water Mills, right next to the Parish Art Museum there. Oh. We put water spin devices, very simple, you screw them right onto any plumbing system throughout their entire spa. So their plunge pools, their water pools, their showers, their faucets, their kitchen, all their gardens are all hydrated with spun water that you feel the tingle when you walk onto the property. And you can imagine the elevation of health practices, given that you might be doing movement practices, which of course are hydrating you. They're spreading that hydration through your system while drinking water that has electrical charge in it. You know, you're going to come out of that healed or healthier than you were before you went in.
I think I need those on my property.
Everyone needs them. We need to recover water. We're going to be, so my goal is to lead the movement to recover water and get its spin back. How sexy is that? Just straight up.
I love that. So Gina, what's next? What's new and what's next for you?
Well, what's new is, besides finding and putting forward companies that do authentic work, it is actually we've developed and we're in process of funding a traveling water museum, which shares all of this extraordinary information in an experiential exhibit that helps you realize how much you are water, and then what are the beauties around what is really water. And we do it all through the arts. So it's, you know, singing bowls, all of this is vibrating your water cells, which creates electricity.
I can visualize like an airstream and people coming out of it to show like this pop-up museum in different cities.
We're going to go all over. We've already released some of our content, Justine, at the Flint Water Festival, at Art Basel, Miami. We've had a huge exhibition in Dubai with our water meditations and water education. It just can't get better than this. This is my dream job, is getting the Water Museum out and moving around the world.
Wow. Well, you have to let us know, keep us posted on all your different locations so that we can share them with our viewers and with our listeners. And equally, I'd love to know, so when you're in the Bay Area, I can go.
Great, of course.
Or anywhere in the California area, or somewhere I can get to. Well, Gina, thank you so much for joining me on my 100th episode.
Wow.
I feel like it was, you know, you kicked it off with me. You're here with me at this great milestone. I couldn't be more pleased to have you here, and hear what you're up to. And if you what you're doing, just as it keeps evolving and growing, and I love to follow and hear what you've done. It's so amazing.
Well, Justine, 100 episodes. Congratulations. You're spreading beautiful information in the world. Flow and juiciness. You're getting it all out there as a water being. So rich blessings on this podcast and your work.
Well, thank you so much. And for those folks that want to follow Gina and keep up to date on what she's up to, Gina, what's the best way to be in touch or follow along with what you're up to?
Well, I have a website called hydrationfoundation.org. It rhymes, hydrationfoundation.org. It's a nonprofit. And you can always write to me at Gina@hydrationfoundation.org, Gina, because I do see all my emails, and I am about educating people. So that's what we get to do.
Great. So for those of you watching this or listening to us, don't forget, if you like what you hear, rate and review. We love to hear from our viewers and listeners. Thanks again.
To find out more about this episode of Essential Ingredients and access show notes, check out Next Gen Chef and choose podcast in the menu bar. If you like this episode, head to iTunes or Next Gen Chef's YouTube channel to subscribe. Learn more about Next Gen Chef, the platform that powers this podcast, by checking out our website or visit us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at Next Gen Chef. You can also check out my Instagram at Justine_Reichman. If you have thoughts about this episode or future episode ideas, leave us a comment at Next Gen Chef's YouTube channel or drop an email at team@nextgenchef.com. Thanks for joining us.